Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come. Let us adore him, Christ the Lord. Hey, all right, everybody. I apologize for earlier. I am back. We had all kind of technical difficulties that were going on, and I'm not sure what was happening or what was going on. But what I do know is that we are back now, and so we are live again, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to try this again. And we are praying that we are going to be successful in what we're trying to do. And so, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to our ministry page and we're going to put that in the comments so that if you want to share the live outside of the virtual conference group, you can. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that link to our Facebook ministry page because that is what is shareable. So we're going to go ahead and share that. And then we're going to try again to give you the link to the ministry YouTube page because that also is shareable. The only thing that is not shareable, of course, will be the private group uh, for the conference because that was for people that did register. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go back in and we're going to go ahead and finish what it was that we were going to talk about this evening. And again, we're not going to be before you long at all. So you can catch the replay. If you happen to pop in live, that's fine. We would appreciate it. We'll be glad to have you. If not, we understand because we know that everyone has a lot going on because, as you know, the Christmas holiday is actually on Saturday. So I know that people are getting ready for that. I know that people are doing a lot of different things. You have guests coming in or whatever, but I just kind of want to talk about what God had kind of laid, the Spirit had kind of laid in my heart today when I was sitting around just looking just looking at different little Christmas movies or whatever, and just began to think about, in 12 days this year will be over. In 12 days we'll be preparing ourselves, if the Lord allows us and is willing for us to get to December 31st, we'll be getting ready to go into a new year. And so I just began to think about 2021, what the year has been, what it has brought, the things that I have been through, the things that I have accomplished, the changes, the growth. And so I just wanted to talk about that and maybe perhaps, get you even to think about what is your year in review for yourself? What is your 2021 year in review? What has happened over these last 12 months that, you know, if you had known in January when you came in that all of the things that occurred in your life would have happened, would you have been ready? Would you have believed it? Whatever the situation is. And so I just wanted to just share my little synopsis of what my year of 2021 has brought, to tell of the goodness, what God has done, the changes, the things that have transpired, the things that have went on. And I think that it's good to do that, to take the time to look back over your life, retrospect, you know, take a hard look about what happened in this year. You know, what things did I want to do that I didn't do? What growth did I want to see naturally and spiritually? You know, what things did God ask me to do that I didn't do, or that I was slowful to do, or whatever the situation was. And I just want to talk about that. So I'm trying to get back to the page now that has the list of questions on it that I said it, this live was going to be about. So any of my friends that usually join me, if you want to join me, just inbox me and let me know. And I will actually, I'm going to send you the link. And if you have time and want to join in the conversation with me to talk about your 2021, you can. If not, it's okay, because I know it's last minute, and everybody's busy doing different things. So the first question says, what did I'm sorry, it says, what has the year of 2021 brought to you? And oh my God, I'm going to start over because I think I was talking about obedience, but I'm just going to start over completely. The year 2021 has brought to me a lot of growth, a lot of growth. Oh, so much growth. And growth, naturally, growth spiritually, growth emotionally. The year 2021 has been a year of tremendous, fast paced growth for me. God has just, He's been so faithful. He's done so many different things. He has just grown me in so many ways. And that growth comes out of a surrendered yes. When there is a surrendered yes, when there is a commitment, then God can do what he needs to do. God can do what he wants to do. God can make the changes that he wants to make in your life, in you, in your way you think, in the way that you talk, in the way that you speak, in the way that you process, in the way that you move. When you have a surrendered and committed yes, God can really do a lot. So my growth comes from a yes. And it wasn't a one time yes, it's a continued yes to when God says that I'm ready to change you this way. I'm ready to move you this way. You need to go to this level. You need to go to this area. I need to work on delivering you from these issues and all those different things. All of that is growth. All of that causes you to grow. And so, in a matter of speaking of growth, I will say that when I started in January, I was a little leery about what was going to happen in 2021. What I knew was that I was not the same person that left out of 2020. I did know that I wasn't the same person, but I did not know what 2021 was going to hold. I did not know how God was going to move. I did not know what God was going to require of me. I didn't know, but what I knew was God was going to do some things, and that I had to have a surrendered heart, a surrendered mind, and I had to be a surrendered vessel in order for God to do the things that He wanted to do uh, in my life, through me, in my family, even in my job, in order, even in the ministry, in order for any of those things to transpire. I had to have a surrendered yes. And I had to be willing to go and look into some hard areas and some hard things that I didn't want to look at. I had to face some hard truths that I didn't want to face. Why? Because God needed me to do that in order to get me to where I am now in December of 2021. I went through deliverance, uh, a deliverance session during the month of deliverance sessions, should I say, during the month of March, February and March. There were some things that God needed to deliver me from. There were some things that I had, you know, I knew about. There were some things that I didn't know about, but they were a hinder. They were hindering me. And I had to come to God and say, I want deliverance. I had to say, God, I want deliverance. The links in order to share this should be, I posted them. Did they not come up for you to share? Let me see. I posted them in the comments. Let me check the comments to see if they're there in the comments, because that was my um one purpose I wanted to make sure was at this time that I shared them in the comments. Okay, so okay, are you in the Facebook group? Are you in the virtual conference group? Let's see. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay, well, that's not gonna help you guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so hold on, everybody. Hold on. I'm getting it where you can share it. I thought it had moved to the group to where you all could share it. Okay, so let me see. Well, now I can't even find my post in the group. And I know it's there because it's telling me it's there. Okay, so I've just made a comment. I've just made a post that actually has the link that you can copy and paste. And okay, let's see. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I'm coming. I want to make sure that this is able to be shared. I don't know who it is in the group because my Facebook is not allowing me to see the video at all. So I don't even know where the video is in the group. It's not popping up for me. But I did make a post separate from the live video right now. Okay, there it is. Okay, Evangelist Diane, try that link and see if you can just copy that and share that link. That's to the ministry page. And let me know if you're able to copy and paste that and share that, Evangelist Diane. So in February and March, I went through deliverance. And I found out some things uh that were generational, things that were in my bloodline that I did not know about. And so just being able to know about some of those things, God delivered me from some things that I had been going through. So that is how all right, Evangelist Diane. Awesome. That is how my year started out in 2021, was going through deliverance. Meanwhile, the ministry, we were doing our women's devotional. We did a month of consecration in January. January 31st, I know the last Saturday in January, I believe was January 30th. Apostle Sophia came in and she spoke to us, the women, of the ministry, she spoke to us, and it was a powerful word that she talked about, to encourage us, as being women, as being prayer warriors, and intercessors. She encouraged us. And so that is how January started, was giving the year to God, in prayer, in fasting, and doing classes. And so February, we continued with our women's devotional. But let me tell you, by the time we got toward the end of February, God had already switched what we were doing in devotion, and God began to start giving me different things for me to talk to the women about it. And so we were having our classes, and so that was what we were doing. And then we went on a fast, with House of Prayer Fellowship, House of Prayer Worldwide Fellowship. The network went on the fast along with the church, with Apostle Sophia and Pastor Dexter, and the church. And we fasted the last week of May. And what it was a liquid fast, but due to the fact that I take medication, I couldn't do the liquid fast, but I did what God told me that I could do during that week. And we were meeting with Apostle every night, at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And we were talking to, she was ministering to us, and she was praying, and she was encouraging us, and she was giving us the word that God had for her to give us each and every day. And as we were going through that week, I was getting a little discouraged, because I was like, okay, God, well, people coming on here, they talking about the breakthroughs they getting breakthrough here, breakthrough there, just breakthrough, breakthrough. And nothing was happening for me. Nothing. It was just like nothing. Nothing was happening. And I was like, wow, nothing is happening for me. There's just nothing. It's just, yeah, just there. Nothing happening. But on the last day that we were doing the fast, and we were meeting with Apostle, that is the day that I got my breakthrough. That was the day that God designated for me to receive my breakthrough. That was the day that God designated for me to be able to get my breakthrough, was on the very last day that we did it. And what happened was, I had prayed that morning, and after I prayed, I was getting myself ready. I prayed, and did all the daily things that you do to get yourself ready. And I was in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, because that was the last part of what I needed to do to get myself ready. And as I was finishing up and walking out, there was a new set of tongues that hit me that I had never heard before. And I couldn't control it, and I couldn't, and I was like, oh my God, I've never heard this before. And I got myself ready and got in the car and was on my way to work. And the Holy Ghost began to deal with me, and begin to let me know that I made you a promise. And the promise was that when I gave my first surrender in 2005, the Holy Spirit told me, when I gave that first yes, that I would have longevity as long as I was obedient and I did his will. And I forgot all about that. I hadn't even given it any more thought. And one of the things that I truly suffered with very badly was always premature death. There was always something that the enemy would bring to me. He would always bring it to me. And that had to do with the fact that when I was 22, I attempted suicide by taking my mother's medication. And so that opened up the door. We never realized that things that we do, it opens up a door. It opens up a portal. It opens up access for the enemy to come in and to begin to wreak havoc and to begin to torment us. And so when I did that, that opened up a door for him to come in and torment me with premature death. And so as I'm driving to work that morning, the last day of the fast, the Spirit begins to let me know, I made you a promise. And I said, as long as you were obedient and you did my will, that I promised you longevity. I'm obligated now to keep my promise because you're obedient. I'm obligated now to keep that promise of longevity because you're walking in obedience. You're doing my will. And when I tell you, by the time I got to work, that thing had broke off of me. That thing got destroyed on my way to work. The fear of premature death, because the Lord, the Spirit let me know, because of your obedience, because you're now walking in obedience, I'm now obligated. I'm obligated to give you longevity. But I'm obligated because of your obedience. If there was no obedience, then I wouldn't be obligated. But because you're being obedient, I'm obligated to give you long life. Because as long as you're walking in the obedience, I'm obligated to give you longevity of life. And so when I tell you, by the time I got to work, oh my God, there was just, I can't explain the feeling that I had, but I knew that there had been a change, that something had been destroyed off and broken in that very moment, in that ride from my house to my job. By the time we got to the meeting that night on Zoom, I had also been having some issues with my hair. It had been falling out. All kinds of things were going on with my hair. I didn't understand it. And God had been telling me for at least 2 weeks prior to us going on this fast that I needed to cut my hair. And I was like, Lord, no, I don't want to cut my hair. Can't you just, God, come on, just, heal it, fix it, do whatever. And all I kept hearing was, you need to cut your hair. You need to cut your hair. And I talked to some of my network sisters. And so finally, I just got obedient and I went and cut my hair during that week. When I got there that night, because I think it was the day before when I got my haircut. So nobody had seen my haircut yet. I'm sorry. I got it cut earlier that day before class that night. So no one had seen my haircut. And when I got to class, before I even logged in, I heard the Spirit tell me, I can't grow your hair because you had dead hair. Now that you cut off the dead hair, now I can grow hair. And he began to just really deal with me about when there are dead things that are attached to you in the spirit or in the natural, you can't grow. You can't grow because those dead things are attached to you. So, daughter, I needed you to cut off all of the dead stuff so that I could start growing, so that I could grow new. You can't grow spiritually if you've got dead things attached to you, if you've got dead weight, if you've got all these other dead things attached to you, you can't grow. Think about it. Are there things spiritually that you've been trying to do just this year? I'm not even going to say years and years, just this year. What is it that you've been trying to do spiritually and you can't get it done? You can't do it. You need to ask God, God, is there any dead weight, anything dead attached to me that I need cut off so that growth can get started, so that I can do what it is that I need to do in the natural? What is hanging on you that's dead weight? What people are hanging around you that are dead weight that you need to cut off and you need to let go? Because that's what God let me know about cutting my hair. He said, now that you cut off the dead ends, the dead hair, I can grow your hair. But I can't grow anything if you've got dead stuff attached to you. That's the same thing spiritually. We can't grow if we've got dead stuff attached to us. What do you have that's dead spiritually attached to you that you need to cut off so that you can grow? You need to allow God to cut it so you can grow. What dead naturally is attached to you that you need to allow God to cut it off so that you can grow? naturally and spiritually. So that was the month of May. That was one of the things that 2021 brought to me, was I had to learn how to cut dead, allow God to cut dead things, and cut dead things off, and dead people and dead situations off. And then we come to July. In July, we were going to Philadelphia to celebrate with my spiritual mom, Apostle Sophia, and Pastor Dexter, in their 1 year anniversary of their church. And so began to pray, asking God, we got to get these vaccines, and we taking one dose, and our second dose was coming 3 days before we were supposed to leave. And I'm praying, God, don't let there be any side effects. Don't let this be happening. Don't let that happen. Lord, let us be able to go. And we go, and we're fine. And when I get there that Saturday night, Apostle ministered to all of us that were in the network that night in a very special, intimate hotel room. She ministered to us. So that was a change. That was something that happened, because God began to give word. God began to give prophetic word. I got to meet network sisters that I'd only seen on Zoom, never seen them in person. I got to be able to see them. I got to be able to spend time with them, and be able to hug them, and be able to talk to them. That was something that happened. But then there was an award that I wasn't even expecting, that Apostle gave us for leadership. So that was something that happened in 2021 that came to me in July. And then, of course, there was August and another birthday, and there was September. But one of the big things that happened was in June. I currently have what they call postpartum cardiomyopathy, and 1 in 1 million women that are pregnant will get that after giving birth. I was one of those 1 million. And so when we started out, and they diagnosed what it was, I was on 12 different medications. I'd say probably for about 60 days, back in 2003, until they figured out, what was going to work, what wasn't. God began to move then, and so we went from 12 medicines. We went down to 6. We went from 6 down to 3, and all the time, I was asking and praying and asking God and saying, God, I need you to heal me. God, I need you to heal me. God, heal me of this, and God, heal me of that. And there was nothing. Nothing was happening. Nothing. And your heart is supposed to pump at 65%. My heart was always pumping. I believe it was at 53, 50, 55. I'm sorry, 55. It was always pumping at 55%. But yet and still, everything was fine. They weren't seeing anything else happening, but it was still pumping below the norm that it should. In June, I went to have another echogram with my new heart specialist, for him to take a look and find out, how is it going? What is it looking like? How is that valve working? How is it pumping? And they mailed me a letter at the end of June, which I didn't open until I got back, until July, after I came back from being in Philadelphia with Apostle and HOP. I went through the mail and I opened the letter. And what the letter said was, and I began to holler and scream, and my son came up trying to figure out what was wrong, and I just threw him the letter. But what the letter said was, we've reviewed your echogram, and the heart pumps at 65%. Your heart is pumping at 63. Your heart is pumping at 63%. When I tell you that is nothing but God, that was a miracle, because I have been asking God with the medication, if that's the way you're going to heal this until it's healed completely and there's no medication, but if you're healing it right now with the medication to where it's going to pump like it needs to normally, Lord, let it be done. And God let that happen in June. that it's pumping at 63%. That's a miracle. And a lot of times we want to discard the miracles that God does because it's with medication. Some miracles come by medication. That's the way that God heals you until he completely heals you off of the medicine. So I take that as a healing until I'm off of the medicine completely, because I know come 2022, I'm not going to have no medicine, because I'm going to do what I need to do to manage what God has already told me to get to that point. But I say it's a miracle because people take the very medicine that I take and it doesn't work. I've been on it for 18, 19 years and it's still working. It doesn't do that. That's God. That's God working. That's God. And so the last thing I'm going to say is that we got to trust and we got to be obedient. Obeying God is so pivotal. It's so important. Obedience to God is so important. And so I pray that this has blessed you. And I pray that you just take it and just think about your 2021 and what God has done for you.